A recent Gallop poll found 1 in 6 Americans say they are now smoking pot. Of course, we all know medical marijuana. It is legal in our state. But the question we're going to ask today is what happens when you find out your teen has been getting high? What do you do then?
Right, licensed therapist Donnie joins us now to talk about it, how worried we should be, what to do about it. Donnie, it seems like with parents now,
right,
as opposed to when we were kids, it's a lot more visible. You have a dispensary nearly on every corner.
Yeah, and I've seen my clients have tripled in the amount of marijuana issues there are with young people that come in my office. And so that's kind of why I want to pause as we're looking at this subject, and not to state is it better or worse than alcohol, et cetera, but to state it is something that we need to pause and think about the adolescents. Because right now I've got about 3 times the amount of clients coming in that have that related to the symptoms that come in. It's affecting their ability to focus, their relationships, their performance, their fatigue. All this is being affected by marijuana use through my office. And so I want to take a pause. The brain is developing well into its 20s. And the more we use marijuana in those younger years, the less it's going to, or the more we're going to be affected by it long term. In terms of concentration, in terms of anxiety, in terms of even the studies are showing us schizophrenia is developed in that part of the brain when we're focused on marijuana, we use marijuana, it's a bigger risk, as well as psychotic episodes. So there's some things to be cautious about because of the brain's developing in that area of time, that 20s.
I have to think, Donnie, that there are some parents, and this would probably go with a lot of issues, but they might say, well, I'm using medical marijuana. I feel a little hypocritical. Should I even talk to my kids about this? How do I even approach that when I'm using?
And I think you need to talk to them about it. You need to inform them that, hey, you are more susceptible to the outcome long-term and short-term of marijuana than a parent or adult is, just based on the way the brain develops up until the mid-20s. So it's real important to talk to your young people about that. I would say have that open discussion on the risk. Let them know at some point they'll be able to decide that, but there is risk. Also make sure that you communicate with your young people about your use. I think that's good, to be honest with them.
Really?
100%, because I think hiding that from them destroys that honest and that trust factor. And long term, that's what you want. And then the last thing I really want is to develop coping skills. The people that use marijuana that are really addicted to that don't have coping skills. They don't know how to deal with anxiety, stress, and so they go right to something. It could be alcohol, it doesn't have to be marijuana. So develop coping skills in your kids. Let them know how to deal with anxiety, how to deal with stress, depression. These are things that there are skills to develop, and that'll help them through adulthood.
I've read too a lot of case studies on that where the kids say, well, I just started taking it because I was anxious, I had anxiety. So you're saying look for something else. Yeah,
there's a lot of ways to deal with anxiety, and especially at this age, because they'll have to deal with that anxiety at 20, 30, 40. You guys never deal with anxiety, right?
Never.
We've all been there. You're right. We all got to find coping mechanisms for sure.
Donnie, thank you very much for being with us. Important topic.
You got it.
If you have a question for Donnie, send it to AskDonnie@news9.net, and you can always visit his website, counseling1820.com.